There is a person you were meant to become. You have met them before. Late at night, when the house is quiet, they appear. They are calmer than you, braver than you. They finished the thing you abandoned. They became what you only described to others. Most people carry this second self in silence. It follows them like a shadow thrown on a wall. You feel it most in ordinary moments. A certain song, an old photograph, a name you have not said aloud in years. For a few seconds, a gap opens. The distance between who you are and who you meant to be. Then the moment passes. You return to your day, and the shadow goes back to waiting. You tell yourself there is still time, and in a way, that sentence is the most dangerous one you own. Here is the strange part. Almost no one chooses to abandon that better self. There was never a single decision. No dramatic morning when you turned and walked away. Something quieter happened instead. The life you imagined dissolved slowly, one ordinary day at a time. You were busy, you were tired. You meant to begin tomorrow. This is what almost no one understands. A life is not lost in a single afternoon. It leaks away through small, unguarded hours. The person you could have been is not killed in some great tragedy. They are simply never built. More than 2,000 years ago, a man in Athens noticed this exact problem. His name was Aristotle. He spent his life circling one quiet question. Why do some people flourish while others slowly fade? Not in wealth, not in fame. In the harder work of becoming fully themselves. What he discovered still describes your life tonight, and it begins with an uncomfortable idea. You are not who you believe yourself to be. You are only what you repeatedly do. Imagine a child told from a young age that they are gifted. Teachers praise their potential. Relatives nod and call them special. They grow up holding that word like a bright coin in their pocket. Potential. It feels like wealth. As long as they never try too hard, the coin stays shining. Untested, the gift can never fail. They could write the great novel. They could build the company everyone would remember. They could become extraordinary someday. And here, the trap closes without a sound. The word someday becomes a country they live in. It is warm there. Nothing is ever risked. The brilliant future stays perfect because it never has to be real. This is the first thing Aristotle understood about us. We confuse having a possibility with living it. A seed is not a tree. A blueprint is not a house. A person full of potential is not yet a person at all. Listen to how people speak about their own lives. I used to paint. I was going to study medicine. I always thought I had a book in me. This is the grammar of a surrendered life. The dream survives only in the past tense. Look around an ordinary home and you can see it. A guitar in the corner, silent under a film of dust. A gym card that has been used twice. A manuscript abandoned in the bottom drawer. These are not only objects. They are small monuments to the lives standing alone at dawn. His bow is drawn. His aim is certain. He tells everyone he could strike the very center. But the arrow never leaves the string. It rests there year after year. His skill means nothing until the instant he lets go. Most people are this archer. They are always about to begin. They guard their potential by refusing to spend it, and slowly the heavy bow bends their arms. The aim that once felt certain begins to tremble. This is the cruelty of wasted potential. The longer you protect it, the more it decays. The gift you refuse to risk does not stay frozen in time. It quietly rots inside the box where you hid it. Try a small experiment in your mind. Imagine you could meet the person you were capable of becoming. They walk into the room and sit across from you. What are they doing with their days? How do they carry themselves when things turn hard? Now ask the more difficult question. What single habit separates them from you? For most of us, the answer is uncomfortably small. So why do we do this? Why protect a dream by refusing to live it? The answer is older than any philosophy. It is written into the body itself. Every living creature is built to avoid pain and seek comfort. You are no exception. Effort hurts. Risk frightens. The unknown feels like the edge of a cliff in the dark. So the mind builds a quiet wall around your potential. Behind that wall, the dream sits safe and untouched. As long as it stays a dream, no one can judge it, not even you. There is a deeper illusion at work. We believe that wanting to be good is the same as being good. You feel the desire to change. You picture the disciplined version of yourself, clearly and vividly. The feeling is so strong that it imitates progress. Aristotle saw straight through this comfort. A wish is not a deed. You do not become honest by admiring honesty in others. You do not become brave by hating your own fear. The warm feeling fades by morning. The wall is still standing. Modern science has found the machinery beneath all this. Every action you repeat carves a path into the brain. Cells that fire together grow stronger together. Your habits are not only behavior, they are physical roads worn into living tissue. The brain has another quiet flaw. It treats your future self almost like a stranger. The reward of tomorrow feels faint and far away. The comfort of right now feels close and loud. So you choose the screen over the work, again and again. You can watch this happen every January. Millions of people promise to remake themselves. The gyms fill for 2 bright weeks. Then the crowds thin, the machines fall quiet. By February, the old roads in the brain have won. Not through weakness of character, through the simple physics of a habit that was never replaced. This is the hidden engine of who you become. Each small choice sets another stone in place. Skip the effort once, and almost nothing happens. Skip it 1,000 times, and a road is built. A wide, smooth road that leads away from the person you could have been. There is an old story about a man with a hidden portrait. On the surface, he never seems to change, but the painting, locked in his attic, records every choice he conceals. Year by year, the face on the canvas grows strange. This is closer to the truth than we like to admit. Your real self is being painted in a private room, not by your intentions, by your actions alone. Now we reach the center of what Aristotle taught, and strangely, it begins with a single tree. Consider an acorn lying in the cold soil. Inside it sleeps the entire shape of an oak, deep roots, heavy branches. A crown of leaves 100 years wide. All of it waits, folded into something the size of your thumb. Aristotle gave this sleeping future a name. He called it potential, the oak that the acorn is able to become. But he saw a second thing, just as important. The actual, the living oak that finally stands in the open field. Between these two lies the whole drama of existence. Potential is what you might be. The actual is what you have made real, and all of nature spends its days crossing the distance between them. The acorn does not hesitate. It does not wait for the right season of motivation. It feels no fear that it might fail as a tree. It simply becomes in quiet and total obedience to its nature. Here, Aristotle noticed something that should stop you where you sit. The human being is the one creature that can refuse. A seed cannot choose to stay a seed. A bird cannot decide it would rather not fly. But a person can hold their whole future in their hands and set it gently down and walk away from it for 40 years. We are the only beings who can betray our own becoming. This is the terrible freedom that comes with being human, and it is why so few people ever truly flourish. Every other thing in nature is pulled toward its fullness. The river runs downhill toward the sea. The flame leans upward toward the air. Only the human being can sit still while the current calls. We can feel the pull of who we might become and choose instead to stay exactly where we are. So, how does a person cross that distance? How does the acorn of a human being become the oak? Aristotle's answer is almost shocking in its plainness. Through habit, through small actions, repeated until they harden into a self. We are not shaped by grand and sudden gestures. We are shaped by what we quietly practice. He said it without decoration. We become just by doing just acts. We become brave by doing brave things. Courage is not a gift you are born holding. It is a skill, built one frightened step after another. Think of someone learning to play an instrument. At first, the hands are clumsy and the notes come out wrong. There is no music in them yet, only effort. But the fingers repeat the same passage 1,000 times. Slowly, the skill sinks below thought. One day, the music simply flows as if it had always been there. This is how a virtue is born, not declared in a moment, but practiced into the bone. Aristotle had a way of asking a sharp question about anything. What is its function? The function of a knife is to cut. A knife is good when it cuts well. The function of an eye is to see. An eye is good when it sees clearly. Then he turned this blade on us. What is the function of a human being? Not merely to survive. Plants survive. Not merely to feel. Animals feel. Our function is to live by reason. To think, to choose, to shape ourselves on purpose. A human is good when this rare power is fully awake and at work. And this leads to his greatest idea. A single word for the highest human life. Eudaimonia. It is usually translated as happiness. That translation has misled people for centuries. Eudaimonia does not mean feeling pleasant. It is not pleasure, or comfort, or a passing good mood. It means a life lived in the full activity of your nature. A life in which your deepest powers are burning rather than sleeping. Consider the difference between 2 evenings. In the first, a man lies on the couch, scrolling, comfortable, entertained. He feels pleasure. By midnight, he feels strangely hollow. In the second, a woman works late on something that is hard and hers. Her back aches. Her mind is fully alive. She is not comfortable, yet something in her is singing. The first evening was pleasure. The second was eudaimonia. Aristotle wanted you to know they are not the same thing. This is the part that quietly changes everything. Happiness, for Aristotle, is not a place you arrive at. It is not a prize that waits at the top of the climb. It is the climbing itself, done well. It is your nature, fully in motion. Once you truly understand this, something shifts behind your eyes. The world does not change. Your seeing does. You begin to look at your ordinary days differently. Yesterday, brushing past a small choice felt like nothing at all. Now you see it for what it really is. A single strike of the chisel. A stone set down in a road that leads somewhere. You stop waiting for the dramatic turning point. There is no lightning. There never was going to be. The transformation you kept waiting for is not an event. It is the sum of 10,000 unremarkable mornings. Picture 2 travelers leaving the same village at dawn. Each chooses a path that bends by a single degree. For the first hour, they walk almost side by side. By nightfall, they can no longer see one another. By the end of the year, they live in separate worlds. This is the secret arithmetic of a life. Small choices feel weightless in the moment they are made, but they gather in silence. The way interest grows in the dark. The person you will be in 10 years is being chosen right now. In the things you do today and quietly call unimportant, you also begin to see a colder truth. You have been becoming someone this entire time. The drift was never neutral. While you waited for your real life to start, a self was still forming. Just not the self you would have chosen. Think of a ship with no one at the wheel. It does not stay still on the water. The current still carries it somewhere. The wind still chooses its direction. A life without intention is not a life on pause. It is a ship sailing wherever the weather decides. Most people never notice the drift while it is happening. It feels like a normal week, then a normal year. You look up one day and a decade has gone. The job you took just for now became the whole story. The town you meant to leave became home by accident. This is how a life is quietly decided while you were busy looking somewhere else. This is the moment when seeing becomes power. Every action is now a kind of vote. A vote for the person you are slowly turning into. Cook the meal instead of ordering it, and you cast one vote. Open the book instead of the bright screen, and you cast another. No single vote decides the whole election, but the counting never stops. And one quiet day, you wake to find out who won. This is why people are so often surprised by their own lives. They never decided to become anxious or bitter or small. They simply voted for it 1,000 quiet times without noticing. A self is built the way a coastline is shaped, not by one great wave, but by the patient return of the tide. You can see this in the smallest things. A person opens a language app every night, for a year, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. They barely notice the effort while it is happening. Then one morning they are speaking to a stranger in a new tongue. The miracle was never the single lesson. It was the refusal to skip the quiet ones. Aristotle understood that character is never declared. It is accumulated slowly, like sand pressed into stone. You cannot announce to the world who you are. You can only reveal it by choice, until the pattern of your actions becomes a person with your name. But here Aristotle would raise a hand in warning. This is not, in the end, a lesson about success. It is not about becoming rich or famous or widely admired. Many people climb towards such things their entire lives. They reach the summit at last and feel almost nothing. The view is strangely empty. The old hunger has not left. They aimed at the wrong target with perfect discipline. Every arrow struck the center of something that did not matter. The flourishing life is quieter and far deeper than that. It is the full use of what makes you human. Your reason, your courage, your power to love and to make things. A life where these gifts are not asleep but lit from within. Aristotle left us a guide for living this way. He called it the golden mean. Every virtue, he taught, rests between two failures. Courage lives between cowardice and recklessness. Generosity lives between stinginess and waste. Honest pride lives between crushing yourself and worshiping yourself. To live well is to find the center, not the lazy middle, but the right amount, at the right time, for the right reason. Picture anger for a moment. A person who never feels anger is not virtuous. They are a doormat, walked over by the world. A person consumed by rage is not virtuous either. They burn down everything they love. The strong thing is to feel anger at the right things, in the right measure, and then to let it go. The same is true of every appetite you carry. A person ruled by hunger becomes its servant. A person who starves themselves becomes a prisoner of another kind. Self-mastery is not the killing of desire. It is the steady hand on the reins. You do not destroy the horse, you learn to ride it. This balance can never be learned from a page. It can only be earned by living. Aristotle had a name for this hard-won skill, phronesis, practical wisdom, the quiet intelligence that knows what this exact moment is asking of you. A young person can memorize every rule of virtue and still fall apart the moment real life grows complicated. Wisdom is not knowing the map by heart. It is knowing the road because you have walked it in the storm, because you have been lost on it and found your way home. Imagine a friend who has made a terrible mistake. The rule says be honest. The rule also says be kind. Tonight, those two rules pull in opposite directions. No book can tell you exactly what to say in that room. Only practical wisdom can. The judgment that grows from a whole life of paying attention. There is one last piece of the flourishing life. It is the part we forget most easily. We cannot become ourselves entirely alone. Aristotle believed the highest kind of friendship is rare. It is not built on usefulness or on simple pleasure. It is built on a shared reaching toward the good. Two people, each helping the other become more fully themselves. Think of two climbers roped together on a steep face. Neither could reach the summit alone. Each holds the other's weight over the worst of the drop. This is what a true friend really is. Someone who quietly carries part of your becoming. This is why the people around you matter so much. You slowly become the average of the lives you stand near. Sit among those who have given up, and giving up feels normal. Stand beside those still reaching, and reaching feels possible. We are shaped by our company, the way a plant is shaped by its soil. A strong seed in poor ground will never grow tall. Aristotle placed one activity above all the rest, the quiet work of thinking, of contemplation, the mind turning toward what is true, simply because it is true. He imagined a wise life as a lighthouse on a dark coast. It does not run out across the water to save the ships. It simply stands and burns and shows them the way. A person who has truly become themselves becomes that kind of light. So the higher way of living is not a finish line at all. It is a craft you keep practicing until your final day. You treat your own life the way a sculptor treats the stone. With patience, with attention, with the nerve to keep striking. Not so that you can one day be finished, but because the carving itself is the good life. The slow act of becoming excellent is already the reward. So return now to that second self, the one who visits you in the quiet hours, the calmer, braver version you believe you never became. You have spent your life imagining they were lost somewhere in the past, a door that quietly closed a long time ago. But that was never the truth. They are not standing behind you. They are standing one choice away. They were always being decided in the present. In the small, ordinary, forgettable hours you swore did not matter. The acorn does not grieve the oak it failed to be. It simply keeps reaching toward what little light it has, one quiet day after another. Aristotle never promised that this would be easy. He promised something better, that it would be worth it. That a life spent becoming is the only life that does not feel wasted at its end. You are still inside the stone. The chisel is still resting in your hand. Nothing has been finished, which means nothing has truly been lost, and so one question remains. The same question a man asked in Athens, beneath a different sky, the same question that is waiting for you tonight. Not who you were going to be, not who you once meant to become, but what you will do tomorrow morning, because that, and nothing else, is who you are becoming.